When we start Vasco da Gama or we create a new project, then the first thing that appears is the mode selection window. Here we have to choose the work mode, and we can choose between the EasyAssist mode here on the left side or the expert mode on the right. The difference between those two work modes is that the EasyAssist mode presents us a somewhat easier interface with fewer parameters, and here Vasco da Gama will realize the settings of many parameters automatically. So the interface is simpler, we see fewer parameters, and that is an advantage because we can work much faster. So the EasyAssist mode is not designed for beginners, but for the long-time users as well, because when we create a new project, we have to do some routine tasks every time, and these routine tasks we can realize much faster in the EasyAssist mode. So sometimes the EasyAssist mode is all what we need, and with other projects we can use the EasyAssist mode for doing the routine tasks at the beginning of a new project, creating our itinerary, and then we switch to the expert mode and can fine-tune our projects. So at any time during our work we can switch from EasyAssist to the expert mode and go on working in the full-featured mode with all the parameters and all the functions accessible. So by now I will select the EasyAssist mode. I will accept with OK, and now Vasco da Gama as usual takes us directly to the project settings, and here we have to choose between two map modes, the simple map mode or the advanced map mode, which is selected by default. The difference between those map modes we will discuss later on in another tutorial. By now I will leave it at the advanced map mode, and the next parameters are the video preferences. This is actually very easy. We have a menu for the predefined video templates, and here we find all the common formats that are nowadays in use, beginning from the old PAL formats to the HD formats, Ultra HTV, and a good selection of the common 4K formats, and even the old PC formats are accessible in this window. And of course we can create our own format. So by selecting a template, by now I will select HDTV 1080 pixels with 25 frames per second. I will select it, and selecting a template will populate those parameters here with their values. So by selecting HDTV 1080, I get the width of 1920 by 1080 pixels, 25 frames per second, field order and pixel aspect ratio. And the good thing is, if I need something special, then I can edit all those parameters. So selecting a video template sets all those parameters, but I can change it if I like. So I will accept with OK. And now let's have a look at the user interface. Of course, the main part of the screen is covered by the preview window, the work window, as we can see it here. And above it, we find the main navigation bar. In the EasyAssist mode, it has only 4 buttons, and the leftmost one is the project button, which takes us to the project settings. We have seen it already before, so I can cancel it at this point. The second button takes us to the Maps section. Here we can choose between the different basic maps and so on. And to the right we find the Export button for creating our final animation as a video file. And EasyAssist indicates us that we are working in EasyAssist mode. And to switch from EasyAssist mode to the Expert mode, we use the button here in the upper right corner, Expert mode. Below the work window we find the tools for navigation and view, and in the lower right corner we find the camera settings and the global settings. And to the right we find the different groups of parameters, and they are always visible, so it is very easy to work with because we see all the parameters every time. So let's create a very simple, very small route for demonstration. I make a click with the left mouse button somewhere on the map, maybe over here, and this creates automatically the starting point of our new route. And I make a second click over here to create the next point, and this will be the end point of our route. In this demonstration it will have only 2 points, the starting point and the ending point. And both points are represented by a symbol here on the map, connected by a black and white dashed line. And you see the points, the symbols have different colors. The endpoint here is green, and this means this is the active one. So all other route points will be always red, and only the active point, that's the one we are working with, has the green color. And you can see as well that those symbols have a sign on top. The arrow here represents always the starting point of a route, and the ending point is always represented by an X. So we can see at every moment which is the starting point, which is the ending point, and we can see which one is the active one. So now let's select the starting point as active point, and now we'll zoom in a little bit so that we can see it a lot better what we are doing. So now let's have a look at the right to examine the parameters. The first parameter group here is the travel section, and here we have a menu, a section menu, and there is selected stage 1, and that means that our route can consist of more than one stage. How this system works I will show you in the next lesson. In this lesson our route will consist of only one stage. The next parameter is the section time, which defines the duration of this section, of this stage, and it is set by default to 10 seconds. That means our route will take 10 seconds from the starting point to the ending point, and it doesn't matter how many points we have in between. It will take 10 seconds and that's it. The next parameter, acceleration and deceleration, is interesting when we like to move an object on our route, and this parameter tells Vasco da Gama that our object starts slowly speeding up and it comes to a halt slowly. This looks much better when we move an object, and since this is the case in this lesson I will activate it right now. The next group of parameters define the look of the route line, which is shown between the individual route points. And if you don't need a route line for the stage, then you can simply turn it off. And I'll turn it off here as well, because I would like to move a car along this route, so I don't have the need for an additional route line. The next parameter group defines the transportation for stage. This means here we can define the object that moves along our route, and I activate it here right now. And now let's select an object that we would like to move. I click on this button and this opens the object selection window. Let's start in the upper right corner. Because there are so many objects and even more object packages available from Motion Studios, they are grouped in different categories and subcategories to make organization easier. So first we have to select the main category, and here we find Vasco da Gama. This is the standard package which comes with the standard installation, and all the other additional packages will be shown here as well. And of course we have a favorite menu and the last used menu, which are very handy as well. So we select the main category Vasco da Gama. And now I will select another subcategory. I will select the cars, and below the preview window we see all the objects contained in this subcategory. And in this lesson I will select this limousine here, and with this button we can add this object to the favorites list. So I will accept this car in this color with OK, and now the car is placed directly at the starting point. So now we have our route defined, we have selected an object, and all the route from the beginning to the end will take 10 seconds. So now we can go directly to the preview and play back our animation. And here we see our car starting slowly and halting as well slowly. So this works quite well, but I would like to change the view of the camera a little bit. So I will leave the preview window, and now let's have a look at the camera settings. The camera control is set to automatic mode. This is very helpful because in the automatic mode, Vasco da Gama keeps our head object, our car, always in the camera view. And there are different camera profiles, and by default is selected side glance 30 degrees. That means instead of a top-down view directly from above, the camera looks from a 30-degree angle to the object. And now I will switch it to side glance 70 degrees. That means the camera view lowers down, looking more from the side. And as well, we have a zoom correction. We can zoom in a little bit on our object, and when I move the wheel to adjust the zoom factor, you don't see nothing. As well as we didn't have seen any change by changing the camera profile. The reason is that we are working here in the editor view, and here in the lower left corner in the navigation and view section we can switch from editor view to camera view. And in the camera view, Vasco da Gama shows us our project from the camera view. So nearly exactly as in the preview. And now you have seen that the camera has moved down because now it shows us the side glance 70 degrees. And now we can use the zoom correction, and we can see it really well when we zoom in. So by now I've selected here 129.5 degrees. So again, back to the preview window, and let's see how the animation looks like right now. And you see that looks much better, although the car is moving a little bit fast. So we have seen that once we have learned how Vasco da Gama works, in Easy Assist mode it is very easy and very fast to create our animations. And of course this was a very easy example. The route consists only of 2 points, but now you understand the work principles of Vasco da Gama, and you have seen that we needed only a few mouse clicks to create this small simple animation. And sometimes those small animations are all what we need. And if we need to adjust more things, then we can switch to expert mode with this button here in the upper right corner. I mentioned it at the beginning. Now I switch to expert mode, and now I get the warning that when I switch to expert mode, I cannot go back to the Easy Assist mode. This is a one way, and I accept with yes. And now you can see that the interface have changed. Now the main navigation bar contains much more buttons, and now I have all the functions, all the tools and all the parameters available to make a perfect animation.